Hello, dear polymer clay enthusiast. I'm Mihaela from Learn Polymer Clay, and in today's tutorial, I want to inspire you to make faux enamel earrings. And we are going to use nail art foils for this faux enamel technique. So I have prepared two um, sheets of polymer clay. I have prepared a sheet of white polymer clay, and I have also prepared a sheet of black polymer, and I am going to use a round cutter, and this is and I am using a round cutter because I want to measure the units that I am using to make the bead, and then I put these cutout pieces of polymer clay together, and I roll them into a round ball, and I rolled them in the middle of the palm, and then I started to roll the bead in the area underneath the thumb and underneath the fingers and all around this part of the palm, and I ended up with a beautiful olive shape for the bead. Then I used a toothpick and I poked a hole from side to side. Next, I used nail art foils in a silver color with a holographic effect. So I put the nail art foil on top of the clay, and I used my fingers to rub the nail art transfer into the clay, and I insisted and I continued to rub on the clay, and then I lift off a corner, and if necessary I insisted in some areas. And then I used a small floral cutter to cut out 6-7 flower shapes that I intend to use to decorate the bead, and it's better to make more shapes that you might need. And then for the base of the bead, I decided to use chameleon paint in a pinkish purple shade, so it's rather pinkish purple from one angle, and it's blue from a different angle. So I am going to use the cutout flowers to decorate the bead, but because of the fact that I have this powder on top of the bead, you don't have raw clay on top of raw clay, so you'll have to use liquid clay to glue these flowers onto the base. So I'm taking up one flower, I'm putting the back of the flower, I'm putting liquid Fimo on the back of the flower, and then I used my dotting tool to press these floral elements into the raw clay, into the bead. And I decorated the bead all around with such floral cutout elements, and then I am going to use beautiful nail art crystals to enhance the beauty of these flowers, and I'm using a drill pen to pick up the rhinestones and then press them in the center of the floral element. And this was my initial trial pieces, but then I decided to make these beads a little bit simpler, meaning I didn't put the floral elements on top and on the bottom like bead caps, but I thought they were too much. And for these beads I intend to use less purple and more pink. And then I am just going to use a mixture of pink alcohol ink and purple passion purple, piñata passion purple. And in fact, I've also added a little bit of color extender, so I'm diluting the colors a little bit. And then I'm going to use a mixture of these two inks, and I'm coloring the margins of the flower, and also the back, because I don't want to have a white back on the flowers. And then I am going to use the pink diluted with the color extender, and I'm going to color a little bit the interior part of the flower with this very light pink alcohol ink. And then you'll just have to bake the beads for 45 minutes in the preheated oven. I bake the pieces on metal cutters, and then I let the clay cool down. And then I applied a thin layer of UV resin using a brush, and I applied the resin on top of the flowers and on top of the bead, of the body of the bead. And then I made sure that there were no resin drippings, and I used a bucket UV lamp for 40 seconds to start curing the resin, and then I put the beads under my larger nail art UV lamp, and I cured them for several minutes. And then I put together an earring design. So I've used a beautiful floral hat pin. I put a green crystal rondelle bead, and then I put the faux enamel bead, and then I used round nose pliers to make a loop. And then I attached the beautiful earring component, and these are the finished pieces, and I hope that you like this idea, and I hope that you will use this inspiration in your work with polymer clay. Thank you, and stay tuned for more inspiration for your work with polymer clay.